Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Conversations with Elizabeth Ellen Carter. And today I am conversing with Caroline Warfield, who is an amazing historical romance author. And we're also in the anthology Desperate Daughters, which comes out in May. So pick it up right now. It's just 99 cents on pre-order. Hello, how are you?
I am dandy, and I think that 99 cents would be the best money they spent this year for this fabulous book. I can't believe what they can get for $1.
Incredible. And we got a crowned review in the InD'tale magazine, which is absolutely fantastic. For those who don't know what that is, it is a romance review magazine, and only the best of the best get a crowned review, and that automatically puts that title into the Roan Awards competition at the end of the year. So we'll keep you in touch about that because we'll need your support there. One thing I love about the Desperate Daughters anthology is, and as the reviewer said, so many different authors, so many different voices, but the narrative just pulls together so well.
Yes.
What do you ascribe that to? It's because
hard
to
work.
anyone, it is hard work.
We've gotten better at it. This is our 6th, 7th one of these we've done, and the last 4 have all been pretty tightly coupled. I think the trick is to settle on an event or 2 events that we're all going to cover, write those scenes up early so people have them, and then put together a Bible or a spreadsheet that has information in it, and then let everybody just go do their thing. And it clicks together remarkably well. Sometimes 1 or 2 of us will write another scene together just because we're chatting and we discover we have a similar interest. But mostly we write separate stories that all come together at 1 event or 2 events. In this case, it was a ball, which was easy enough to do and fun to do. And we had a little bit of working out of timing, but we do that in the beta reading process where, oh no, you said she came in before supper, but really I need for her to come in after supper. Those kinds of things we are able to work out just fine in the beta process. So yeah, it's good. It's good. And it's fun to have these characters walk in and out of each other's stories.
It is. And what is really interesting too is in doing the collaborative reads where another author is borrowed your characters is and this was a delight. The characterizations were pretty spot on all the way through. That because writing a story, you are pretty much living in your own head and getting this vision that you have on paper, and by discussion and sometimes just dipping in back and forth in the collaborative group for another author to capture the spirit and intent of another author's character has been great. It's been it really shows when you're disciplined and you've got the structure as the Bluestocking Belles really have down to a fine art. It really does make that a less complicated process than it would be ordinarily.
It helps that we're friends and we talk to each other, and bits of this dribble out early in the game. So yeah, this one was just fun. It was just fun. I love the idea from the beginning.
It is a whole lot of fun, and actually it has me going back to rewatching various productions of Pride and Prejudice, and thinking, thank goodness that that Lady Patience is not Mrs. Bennet.
Yes, definitely not. Definitely not. However, her plot is a bit devious. She talks all of her girls into putting all their money in one basket. And they cold-bloodedly decide that the 3 that are 17, 18, 19 are the most eligible, and they're going to put them out there give them the dowry money, put all of their energy into it, and see what happens. And assuming that they'll all benefit if they manage to snap all the husbands, which your characters do. So
the twins have been great fun. They were great fun.
Hilarious that you took two of them at once. Actually, having two different people write twins would have been hard, but that you took them both, I think, was a good idea. But coming up with the two cousins was brilliant.
They had to, otherwise it would be too sad. The twins who were so close would have to go away. So no, that worked out really well. And your character of Doro, I liked her very, very much. Would you like to share with everyone who Doro is and what's her driving purpose?
Well, as will become obvious, when these young women's father died, he left them with nothing. So suddenly they're faced with this distant cousin and a horrible wife coming in and taking over the family home and essentially throwing them out. And they're struggling to live in a tiny little cottage. There are 9 girls and the stepmother, who's younger than some of the daughters. And Doro just isn't having it. I mean, she's not going to sit there and feel sorry for herself. So she tromps off to a nearby town, Harrogate. Is that how I say it? How do you say that word?
Harrogate.
Harrogate. Have to ask a Yorkshire knowledgeable person. She hops off to Harrogate and gets a job in a hotel because she knows how to bake. Well, she's a pretty smart cookie, so she starts as a baker, and she ingratiates herself on the manager, and pretty soon she's keeping the books. She's managing the catering business and is quite happy to send money back home to the stepmother. She's pretty much walked away from her title because the last thing she needs is having the other employees treating her as something peculiar. Nor does she want the guests in the hotel to know she has a title, because they'll just look down their nose on her. They'll either feel sorry for her or scorn her. So she just doesn't bother with it. So she's plain old Doro Bigglesworth, at least as long as she's in Harrogate. And by the way, thank you for teaching us about Harrogate. It turned out to be perfect for my story. And I loved reading the history of that place. I was fascinated.
It is a fascinating little place, and I've still got a cousin who lives in Starbeck, which we've called Starbrook in Desperate Daughters, and that's halfway between Harrogate and Knaresborough, which is another fascinating little town.
Right. And
I've just finished rereading Charity Girl by Georgette Heyer. And there's a scene there in Harrogate where our hero is trying to persuade the father of this sort of young woman that he's taken under his wing to do the right thing by her and set her up with an allowance, but and going through the spa town and all of the hotels in order to try and find this fellow. I
was intrigued about Harrogate, that it is a spa town, but unlike Bath, where everything's kind of locked up and you pay a fee to get in, they had wells and springs all over the place, and anybody could come and walk through the Stray, this open land, and take the waters. Which I was able to play on by giving my hero a kind of soup kitchen. So the poor who came there to take the waters had a place to eat lunch.
And the introduction between Doro and her curate, I think is absolutely wonderful. What a terrific setup.
Thank you. I rather like them. Anyway, I like Doro. She is nobody's cupcake. She's just going to take care of herself. Thank you very much. But she's happy to help her younger sisters.
And this is it with all the heroines in Desperate Daughters, is in one way or another they're actually quite resourceful, which hey, when you've got your back up against it, you've got to be. It's either forge your way through or wilt, and our girls definitely don't.
None of them wilt. There's not a wilter in the bunch. Not even the young ones. The two young girls who are 10 or 12, that I forget
Yes.
what their ages, but they're pretty sharp little kids too. They are not wilters.
It was really interesting because, of course, the focus is not on the youngest of the girls, but all of us, in a way, quite independently, gave those two girls, Emma and Marilyn,
Mary, yeah.
from memory, quite sassy personalities.
Yes. Well, they had to match their sisters. That's my favorite line in my story is Mama Dora's in the closet with a man. That's Emma.
So just to give a little bit of a tease, how did Doro meet her hero?
Well, she was going to the Chapel of Ease. Now, Knaresborough, that's the other town.
Knaresborough.
Knaresborough is where the parish is. And actually, this came from my research. Harrogate has what's called a Chapel of Ease. That means a close by chapel so people don't have to travel so far on Sunday. And it has this curate rather than a vicar. And she discovered they had this soup kitchen. And so on her half days, she started volunteering to help there. And it was his work. So that's how they met. My hero is a curate, yes. I was thinking about heroes today. My last 3 in the Belles collections have all been soldiers. They've all been wounded veterans who've come back somehow wounded or marred by what they found in the Peninsular Wars. So this time I have a curate. No alpha types for me. I don't have a duke in the lot.
So why did you choose a curate for his profession?
I don't honestly know. He just sort of came to me. I that's how it works with me. I don't always know where these people come from. They just kind of wander into my brain and end up on the paper. Then I had to give them motivation. So that was,
And that is the fun thing about writing is you might have this general idea, but the characters really do take on a life of their own. And as the author, in some respects, you just go along for the ride.
People talk about arguing with their characters, but I think we do. I think it's true.
Oh yeah. Oh
like,
yeah.
You're going to do what? You're going where? I didn't plan that.
But let's run with it. That worked out well. Oh, I wouldn't have thought of that. But then I did think of it. But I didn't think of it because, and I think there's this argument between the left and right brain.
There's this place inside us where these things reside, and I have to have some quiet for it to bubble up. Usually when I'm stuck, I need to take a walk, because if I go take a walk, things will bubble up that are hiding in there, and I know they're in there. I call them the girls in the basement. It's like, they're down there, and sometimes they talk to me and sometimes they don't. It's very bad when they quit talking to me.
And yeah, I sort of, for me, it's a case of if I've got a plot knot, that it's sort of, I will kick it to the back brain. It'll work on there. I'll do something else, knowing that sort of, yeah, there's another part of the mind working on it. And then all of a sudden it's sort of bang, 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 there, laid out before you. And it's sort of, that works really well.
Well, that's what I meant. Yes, I knew I was going to do that. Right. Right. That's why some authors work on 2 or 3 books at a time, because if one's not working, you go work on the other one. I'm not very good at that. I tend to be focused.
Yeah, I have to be as well. I'm in the process of revising the second book in the Gems of London series, but while I was away at the weekend, there's a short story that I've got for an anthology at the very end of the year for Dragonblade. In fact, we're both in that one. Yes.
I had the same distraction. I had the same distraction this weekend. I was supposed to be starting my new series, but I finally had the pieces kind of plunk into place who this guy is. Don't ask me why I picked Henry VI Part 3, but I did.
I love it.
Making a comedy or a drama. I've got Henry VI. I'm the history nut. So I think I'm going to have a fun with a family full of Henrys. A war about roses and 3 parts to the story. So I think it's going to work.
I think that's great. I've picked Macbeth.
Well, that's a more logical pick. Good luck with that one.
It's really interesting because it's a whole again, it's this whole cast of characters, and sort of working out sort of, okay, in a way, actually, funnily enough, it's sort of characterization is like staging a play. I get characters in my head to do in the film industry what's known as a table read, where it's sort of they've got the scripts in front of them, but you haven't blocked the scenes yet, and it's sort of, does that work? Not quite, but if we did this, that, and the other, yeah, that works. So having these characters sort of, rehearse in front of you is, and anyone else.
That's kind of what you have to do. People talk about how they write. I don't outline. I subscribe to what's his name? I'm going to quote an author without remembering his name, but he wrote Writing from the Middle, where you ask yourself, all right, who is this person and how do they change? And you find the change point in the middle and you work the plot both directions. So I get the big turning points and I do the characterization, and then I have to write for a while, and it goes slowly because it's very iterative, back and forth and back and forth. And then the story clicks into place, and then I can do the 2,000 words a day, 3,000 words a day and push it to the finish. But the beginning is very iterative.
Yeah, no, I
blocking out the scenes. I hadn't thought of it, but that's what I'm doing. I'm blocking it out.
And this is it, because the pivotal part of all romance is what is that change point. It's sort of, we write the hero's journey in every story, whether it's the hero or whether the hero's journey is the heroine's journey.
It might not be, yes, I'm in love with this person, but it's the change he needs to make that will enable that to happen soon after.
Yeah.
And the one I'm working on, it's going to be, no, I can't leave and go home. I have to stay here. That's the midpoint. Now I have to figure out where I'm going in the other 2 directions.
So what are you looking forward to next, in addition to the Duke in Winter anthology? Is it too early to reveal that the Bluestocking Belles will be back bigger and better,
better than ever?
Another anthology?
Well, of course we will, and we're currently brainstorming what the shared scenes are going to be in that one. I think it's too early. I think we still have some talking to do. I'm not sure everybody's on board.
We do, but there will be another one next year.
Yes, that's definitely coming. It'll be a little later in the year. I just finished a series. I was going to tack 2 books on the end of it, and I had verbal agreement from Dragonblade to do that, but we've decided they don't really fit the arc of the Ashmead heirs. So I found a 3rd story that fits a different sort of theme, and I'm calling it Entitled Gentlemen. They are all people who are or are not dukes for various reasons. They are or they aren't. I had a disputed title situation in one of the Ashmead books, and I had those 2 characters left over to do something with. And then I had another character that actually doesn't have a title, who is pursuing a woman who wants one. So I'm calling them the Entitled Gentlemen, because it's like, does the title matter? Well, yes, it does. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. So that's kind of going to be the theme of the next series.
I love it. The Ashmead series is an absolute delight. So everyone, if you've not encountered that one yet, grab it. We've got another interview in our series where you do talk about the Ashmead series as well.
Right.
So,
I'll be back
check
to do
that out as well.
Book 4 is coming out in June. That's a good time to talk about it.
Wonderful. And we'll do that again. That would be lovely. Wow.
I like these anthologies, though. Anthologies are fun. They are, and they're not very painful usually. Although I think the Belles work a little harder at it than other people do. Most groups choose a theme and you just submit a story, but that's okay. They're both good.
Well, the interplay between all the other characters, I think, is what sets a Bluestocking Belles anthology apart.
Yes.
And it's really nice because it really does. There's it's a high tea. I'll visualize it that way, where the stories are a lovely little treats, but they're all harmonious
Yes.
because of the commonality. Whereas other anthologies can be a bit of a buffet. It covers a wider gamut, and because each author has worked on this independently, you get different notes. Whereas the Bluestocking Belles anthologies, Desperate Daughters, is a symphony.
It holds together as a book. Yes, there's harmony.
Yeah.
They all, in this particular one, they all come together for the ball in which the three eligibles, the Sea Haven Diamonds, are introduced to society. And Doro's downstairs working in the kitchen when she's not upstairs pretending to be a Deb. And she encounters her beloved for the first time in her real identity. And it's a bit of a shock. I'll say that much.
Yes.
A bit of a shock.
It is, but a happily ever after.
Of course. Meanwhile, your two young ladies are being introduced, and they are the Sea Haven Diamonds.
They are and sort of already taken at that point with their cousins, although they
Will doesn't know that yet, I don't think. Do they?
No, they don't. Patience of the cousins, the Bentley cousins, have spoken to Lady Patience, and Lady Patience has said, "I'm not going to grant you permission to court just yet.
Let's get these girls to the ball, please."
to the ball, and you need to get yourself a little bit better established, because they've got everything riding on the success of their horse training facility and showcasing that with their
I think there's an infamous bet in there somewhere too.
There is a very infamous bet in there, which I quite like, because the new Earl of Sea Haven gets what he deserves.
Yes, you did a good job with him.
I like to see them get their comeuppance.
I like the running around in the background where people are switching roles. We can only send two of them to an afternoon tea at a time, because they share clothes. They redo them so no one knows they're all sharing clothes. I just love that.
Which is, and I was really inspired by Victoria Vane's work as well. An absolutely lovely lady. Doesn't write any more, sadly. She writes lovely historical romances, but she's found a true passion and true calling in historical costumes. So check out the March 2022 edition of Love's Great Adventure. It's all about Desperate Daughters, and the fashion feature inside showcases the convertible fashions. So you can see how our Desperate Daughters managed to look so well turned out in various events, using only a few gowns, but how the embellishments make all the difference. And that was the case. We have many more clothes today than the wealthiest people in society have.
Yes.
The Industrial Revolution did change that quite extensively.
That issue of your magazine is just brilliant. But I liked Victoria's article very much. It was exactly what we were thinking. In fact, at the ball, my character and another character are wearing the same dress.
Yes.
At the same ball.
and it can be can be done and look completely different. And it's sort of when all of that part was being brainstormed, it's sort of, oh yeah, I could. And again, I hope the readers can, when they get their hands on Desperate Daughters, is really visualize how all of this unpacks, because they're great tales. All of them are terrific.
They're fun. They are really fun.
Well, thank you very, very much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was wonderful.
It's always
to talk more often.
We should.
Yes,
I'm going to get myself better organized. We're going to be doing more chats, recorded and not recorded. I think the Bluestocking Belles are overdue for another chat.
Well, you're a wonderment to me. So thank you very much for this and for your lovely magazine.
Thank you. Thank you. And everyone, thank you for joining us for another edition of Conversations with Elizabeth Ellen Carter. Please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll be chatting again very, very soon. Thank you.